guys, welcome back to Wrestling World. Today, I wanted to talk about a few stories that have really started up some big discussions in the wrestling community, which are these two big stories regarding Zelina Vega and Braun Strowman. So let's start things off with Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega is one of the most promising WWE superstars on the main roster. Zelina Vega spent the last few years of her career as a manager, but Zelina Vega has finally broke free and is now a full-time competitor over on Smackdown. Zelina already noted on Twitter that she's coming after the Smackdown Women's title and thinks it would be an amazing look around her waist. So everything is going well for Zelina Vega in WWE. Zelina Vega was at the center of discussion this week over the new paid content subscription page she made over at OnlyFans. We know about the chaos that's going on right now between WWE, the superstars, and third-party platforms. Some WWE superstars were streaming and others had things like YouTube channels for a handful of years now. But that all changed this year alone. It was no longer a few selected superstars that were streaming and had channels. Literally, the entire roster started streaming and creating pages on these third-party platforms this year. So that's when it seemed like it caught WWE's attention. That's when the ban was supposed to go out, causing WWE superstars to either shut down their pages or hand over the ownership of these pages. Everyone thinks of Twitch, YouTube, and Cameo right away when it comes to third-party rules. But what also seems to apply to the third-party rule is paid content subscription platforms like what Zelina Vega is starting up here. Now, obviously, platforms like these have this overall bad perception online of being a certain way, but Zelina made it clear right from the start that her page is not going to be like that at all. On top of being a full-time WWE superstar, she also streams, and she's also very big on cosplaying and doing all these other photo shoots for the costumes. The photo shoot sets obviously have to be expensive to be put together, so that's why Zelina is looking to make it part of the subscription for her fans. Of course, because of the third-party rules, the WWE persona of Zelina Vega has nothing to do with her new page she's creating. She obviously has it under her real name, and it's in no way connected to the WWE character Zelina Vega. It's interesting and got a lot of people talking because there's no current WWE superstar, man or woman, that's on these platforms. So, who knows? Maybe Zelina becomes a trendsetter and other WWE superstars will follow in her footsteps and join these paid content platforms. Have to bring it up and question it because that's how everything else started for the WWE superstars with Twitch, YouTube, and Cameo. No one was doing these things at first, but when everyone saw the success that the first few superstars were having, every WWE superstar jumped on board and created a Cameo and started streaming. So who knows if that'll happen here, but maybe other superstars were hesitant to enter the paid content scene at first, but if Zelina Vega absolutely crushes it, like many believe she will, then maybe she's opening the door for a lot of other co-WWE superstars to join her. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. Braun Strowman is coming off a huge main event title match on the premiere episode of Smackdown against Roman Reigns. Braun Strowman went trending once again over the weekend, but for the very wrong reason, and it was mostly in a negative light. Braun Strowman attended Biketoberfest at Daytona Beach this past Sunday, and he was uploading pictures and videos of himself at the event. It's just an event to get together and show off bikes, but in today's atmosphere, it's considered an extremely high-risk event to attend, especially for a WWE superstar who has to be inside the Thunderdome for a match on Raw just 48 hours later. There were thousands of people at this festival in such a small space, and Braun Strowman wasn't wearing any facial coverings or anything like that at all. So fans are a bit worried about the risk this could bring to the WWE locker room. There's a questionnaire that WWE superstars have to always fill out before they enter any tapings. And one of those questions is something along the lines of, have you done anything that might have put yourself at risk? So it'll be interesting to see if Braun Strowman can answer that question with a straight face and say, no, he hasn't done anything to put himself at risk at all. It's great that he enjoyed himself and the fest, but like a lot of WWE fans pointed out, he has a big match against Keith Lee this week on Raw, and you can see it as putting Keith Lee and the entire WWE locker room at risk. We know that WWE is still in the recovery period of getting through their second outbreak, and obviously they don't want to deal with a third one, especially like we heard in the past week that a pregnant Becky Lynch was backstage. You just never know who you could be putting at risk. So it was very concerning and a bad look for Strowman, no doubt about it, but we can only hope that nothing comes from it and everyone stays safe inside the Thunderdome. In other wrestling news, it seems like a possible name change could be coming for Dominik Mysterio. We've talked a lot on the last few months how Prince Mysterio seemed to be the most likely name change for Dominik. It made sense as well because Rey means king, so it makes sense that Dominik would be Prince Mysterio, son of the king. But it doesn't seem like that name change could be happening, but it does look like a different name change could still be on the way. WWE has just filed for the name of Dominik. It's the same sound and pronunciation of the name, but they did switch up the spelling for the end of it with N-I-C-K rather than N-I-K. So that's a slight change, but it's still interesting to note. It's also intriguing to see that they filed the name for just Dominik, with the last name of Mysterio being nowhere to be found. Dominik seems very proud of his family and wants to continue their legacy, but it's possible that WWE probably wants to slowly break him away from that public image of just being Rey Mysterio's son. We saw them do that for a while with Charlotte Flair. There was a period where she was just referred to as Charlotte, but they eventually gave the Flair last name right back to her. So, could that be what they're aiming for here with Dominik? I think so, because WWE doesn't seem to enjoy these long names anymore, and the name of Dominik Mysterio is a very long name. We've seen them shorten so many superstars' names over the last few years alone, so could they shorten his name to just simply Dominik? It seems highly possible. As far as Dominik's sister, Aaliyah, Vince McMahon and WWE reportedly love what they see from the 19-year-old. Aaliyah has been a reoccurring on-screen character over the last few months, but she currently isn't signed to any long-term agreement with WWE. But the fact right there could change any second now. Reports claim that Vince McMahon and WWE are ready to sign Aaliyah full-time because they're impressed with her. Aaliyah has actually gone quietly missing from WWE television over the last few weeks, but I think that's mostly due to the chaos that usually happens with the superstars transitioning over to different brands. Once the outcomes of the WWE draft start settling down, it's still a possibility that we can see Aaliyah appear again over on Smackdown to either continue the storyline with Murphy or wrap it up. The way WWE left things off with Aaliyah and Murphy seems to look like there was more to the story, so maybe that gets picked back up in the coming weeks. But what are your thoughts on today's wrestling news? What are your thoughts on Zelina Vega's announcement? Do you think it's a good move? What are your thoughts on the situation with Braun Strowman and the Mysterio family as well? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Stay connected with us on our other social media platforms as well. Links to our Instagram, Twitter, and more are always linked below. Thanks for watching, guys.